What's going on, everybody? Check out this clip from the Pre-Patch Podcast. We're going to be talking about Foamstars. So, Bill, how
Yeah.
is the PlayStation Splatoon?
It's very Splatoony. So for anybody that doesn't know what Foamstars is, it is a Square Enix made party shooter, akin to Splatoon. You have foam launchers, you cover an arena, let you slide around real quick, you shoot the enemy team with foam to foam them up, and then you slide into them to knock them out, and it's it's uh it's a time. It is interesting. I wish that I had played Splatoon to have like a proper like kind of gauge to go off of with this, but from what I've gathered and from the people in my community that have played Splatoon and know what's going on, it's very similar, but does a few things that kind of differentiate a little bit. First and foremost, it's not builds as much as it is character based. It's more of a hero shooter.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
so at launch right now, I think there's 8 characters and then 2 that you can unlock through play. There might be
So-
more. I'm not sure.
Do you have different foamers then? Like different
Yeah.
ways to launch the foam?
Yeah.
Foamers.
So
Know what they're called? Foamers.
I don't know.
I
made
don't
that
know what
up.
they're
I'm-
called.
Foamers.
I'm gonna
Oh man.
I have
coin
no
that
clue
right
what they're
now.
called, but yeah, they have
Foams
different
up,
weapons. Like
dude.
there's one chick that has 2 like SMGs, and she's more of like a close range duelist. There's a guy with a shotgun. There's a few of them that have like foam like sprayers, like a flamethrower, but it's foam based. A rocket launcher. A few that have like modified, like you can charge it up and shoot like a big orb or a grenade, and then they like shoot out like wave style. Otherwise, pretty nifty there. And then everybody has 2 abilities and an ultimate ability, a la Overwatch. So
Those
You can have
rounds were
somebody
hella
that's-
quick. Is that like
Yeah,
the?
they
yeah,
are.
this game mode, not the biggest fan of. But there are a few different game modes as well. It's honestly not as bad of a time as I expected it to be. I don't know how long it's going to stick around for, but it's actually fairly fun. I don't I don't necessarily think it's going to be a game for me, but I could definitely see the audience that it's made for, especially if you like hero shooters. This is more TDM based than what Splatoon is. There's no game mode as of right now that involves like field coverage as the win objective. It's
Weird.
either got
Oh,
eliminations.
Wait, what was
as
the win objector? Oh, on that last one, that was eliminations.
Yeah, so the game modes that they have in right now is they have the one that we just saw. If you're watching live, it's a 4v4 mode, but only 2 people are fighting on the field at a time. So you have 2 people. It's basically the gulag from Call of Duty, but Splatoonified. So
Huh.
you have 2 people that are dueling another pair down in the bottom area, and then the other 2 people are up in the rafters, like trying to impact the match by either filling up the field so that their team can maneuver around or slow down the enemy team, or they have some projectiles that they can throw down just to goof things up. So that one, it's not my favorite. The rounds do go very quickly, and the theme that I found with a lot of these modes is this game, and I don't know how it compares to Splatoon in this aspect, is extremely team reliant. Like super team reliant. Like if you get foamed up, your team can rescue you. They can slide into you before an enemy team person can and basically save you and bring you back in without you having to respawn. If you don't have a team that's willing to play the altruist, you're going to have a really bad time.
When you mean
Because not only does it, like, the respawn timers are pretty long, but then you have to get all the way back over to wherever the fight was going to be. It's not the best time if you don't have a team that's willing to play ball in
when
that
you
regard.
say like foamed up, so is that like you have to get like covered and then hit to get knocked out or something?
Yeah, so you have a health bar. If you take hits either from abilities or from the blasters themselves, you get covered in foam. Once your health bar drops all the way, you're in a foamed up state, so you're rolling around in an orb of foam. And you either, to be eliminated, you either stay in that stance for like 5 seconds, I think, or the enemy team slides up to you and hits you while they're like doing their surf maneuver. So they can eliminate you immediately if they foam you up, and then kick you. Um, that being said, if you are foamed up and somebody from your team slides into you, it rescues you. You shoot up in the air, you get about 50% of your health back, and you're immediately able to go back into the fight.
Huh.
Okay.
So
Cool. I was
um,
also noticing with the foam, it looked like you were almost stacking it on top of each other.
yeah,
Like
that's
so
one of
there's
the
more
biggest
elevation to the foam.
Yep, that's one of the biggest
Kinda cool.
differentiators between this and Splatoon is there is depth to the phone. So
Yeah.
some characters actually
Kind of
specify.
make cover almost with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can build like there's one character specifically that has like a mortar that he launches, and it makes like a giant wall of
Yeah, I
foam in
saw that
front of you,
earlier.
so you can block off a section
Interesting.
from like line of sight. You can
Yeah.
also use that to like climb quicker, so you can make like a ramp with the foam to be able to get up to higher trajectory.
Oh, you're getting
Is
foam.
there
faster.
is there a way? Because like for everybody that's listening again, he you know he's basically what we're seeing right now is his character kind of going around. He had a lot of like the enemy team's foam on him. How do you, is there a way to get that off of you? Like do you
Wait.
get it's just
just
a
waiting.
time mechanic.
Yep,
Okay.
you gotta wait it out.
Okay.
You gotta wait it out. There's no way to get it off of you once it's on there unless
Wonder if they'll
you
come out with like foam medics or something.
They should have
healers.
a,
That would be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
they should
I
have
think
a,
that would be something they should have.
a tertiary or third team that comes in that's called the cleaners. And like as everyone
Yeah.
is unloading all their shit, they're having to clean up all
Yeah.
the fucking foam shit mess on
Right.
the ground. That's huh.
So this game mode that we're watching right now is the premier game mode that it has. It's called Smash the Star or something like that. It's basically a team deathmatch style mode. Each team has a lot of 7 lives that they go through, and then once your team runs out of all of those lives, the best player on your team is made the star. They get bonus health, they get bonus damage, and if the enemy team beats your star, your team loses. So
The VIP mode.
yeah,
Protect the
it's
VIP.
basically it's like VIP mode.
Okay.
I think it's the most well done mode. It has the most potential for like a turnaround, because they do make that star player extremely strong. But again, if your team's not willing to play altruist and actually play defensive, you're just going to get cycled very quickly and kind of roll.
Right. I mean, that's
It's
the whole
very
point of that
snowbally
game
game.
mode. You
Yeah,
gotta
and then the
protect
last one is a
MVP.
payload push.
You gotta
you-
have a payload push.
Gotta have a
Of
payload
course.
push. So
Gotta have one.
Always.
payload in the middle, you jump on it to bring it to your team side. It's not like Overwatch as much, where you have to constantly be on it. It kind of pushes to like spot to spot, and then you have to like basically defend it at each of these different choke points before it comes back, and then it's all percent based. So the team that can push it the furthest percent up the way wins,
The
or if you
payload
push it all the way, you win.
better be a giant rubber ducky.
Oh yeah, it's a
Is
it's a giant rubber ducky with a like manning a DJ booth.
I just guessed that.
Yep, nope, it's a rubber ducky with a DJ booth.
That's
So
it's
awesome.
this,
I mean,
it's this
it
guy.
makes sense.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say it
Here-
better be. Oh, it's that guy.
So here's
Yeah.
kind of the sentiment that I'm kind of getting out of this, and I think Chad is kind of saying the same thing, and it's kind of echoing a little bit about what you're saying. It seems like this is a game that is kind of fun, right? Like I don't know if it had like I guess my question is, I mean, you kind of said it before, but do you think that it really has staying power? Because isn't it like $30 or $40? Like right now it's free. I know that, but
Yeah, it's free if you have PlayStation Plus for the month of February. It'll be $30
$30.
any other time. As far as staying power, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I said, this isn't my type of game. This isn't something that I really see myself playing outside of maybe like if I have some friends to play it with, I could see myself getting some fun out of it. But
I just
for like ranking up, because they just added a ranked mode to it this week, I don't see myself really investing time into it. Now that being said, this is probably more accessible than what Splatoon would be. There's no grind to it. There's no like every player has the same power level right out of the box. It's not like Splatoon where you have to grind up builds, grind up weapons, stuff
I
like
didn't
that
even
to
know you had
be
a
able
grind
to
in
compete.
Splatoon.
Yeah,
you do.
Okay.
yeah.
You know what?
Splatoon's all loadout based. This is all character based.
What this
Gotcha.
reminds me of, and another game that Sony did something similar to this, right? Where, you know, and I get there's gonna be people that are gonna rant and rave, be like, "Don't call this Splatoon," but I mean, come on, let's be honest. Like, it's
Splatoon.
it's a very kin to Splatoon, right? In that style of shooter. It's PlayStation All Stars Brawl. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was like the Super Smash, but for PlayStation characters. Again,
Yeah, I remember.
the concept, the gameplay, the feel of that game was, you know, good, but it didn't last. I think that it feels very similar to this, right? Like, not saying that this game is not good, not fun, not, you know, aesthetically pleasing or have some cool modes or something like that to it, but I don't know, man. Like, you're trying to take on the behemoth that is Splatoon.
That's my only issue. Is like they're gonna be naturally targeting people that play Splatoon, right? And I just don't really feel like Splatoon players are necessarily going to go to this. They might do what you did, Bill. They might go in there and they might play a couple of rounds and they're gonna be like, oh, that's okay. You know, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's not bad. But I don't think it's gonna pull people away from Splatoon, and that's.
I don't even think that's the market that they're necessarily going for. I
You
think
don't
they're
think so?
genuinely
But I mean,
trying
that's
to.
the market
they're
that they
trying
have to
to-
directly
To me,
compete
that's
with,
what it
though.
looks-
Basically, you don't have Splatoon. Well, we have Splatoon at home. That kind of
Well,
thing.
that's what I was about to say. Is like
Right.
to me, that's what it looks like they're going for. Is they're trying to cater to that market of Splatoon players, but I just don't think Splatoon players are going to go for it. I don't think
Right,
they're
and
gonna,
even if that's not the market they're going for, that's the market that they're directly competing with. There's really no choice about that.
Yeah, but that's all dependent on if somebody owns a Switch or not. They're I believe aiming for the
True.
market of people that don't have a Switch but want to play this style of game.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's about
And-
the
and
most-
if that's-
as much
about
as
it.
they got.
if that's the case, though, I think that their smarter option would have been to keep it free to play instead of making it $30. Because I don't think that people are going to pay $30 for this. I just don't. I mean, they might. I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it, but I'm not really the. This doesn't interest me at all. I don't think I'm the market that they're looking for. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's to me, it screams free to play, just because I think that they could do a lot, you know,
yeah,
cosmetics.
that's what I'm saying. Is like it seems like a
um,
free to play game more than it seems like a $30 game. And I just think that that's a really bad option. Like, if they wanted to make some money off of it, they could have went down like the microtransaction route and just made it. Like the aesthetics of the game look cool. I like the aesthetics of the game. Like, they do look really nice. And that's what they should have leaned into. Yeah,
Right.
that's what they should have leaned into. Personally, that's in my opinion. Granted, again, I've not played it. I don't know anything about it. This is the first time really looking at it. This is the first time really looking at gameplay of it. And it looks okay, but again,
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of a free to play game than a $30.
Yeah,
You know,
purchase.
honestly, I wouldn't doubt you that give it like a year or so, and it will
It'll
probably
probably
go
go
free to play.
Yeah.
I don't even know
Just
if
like,
a year.
I mean,
I think you'll get
that's
less than that before
less,
it goes
even
free to
less
play.
than, yeah. But like that's just like what happened to what was it, Fall Guys, right? You know,
Yeah.
they came out at like around the same price point, if I'm not mistaken, and then, you know, a year later, boom,
I
it's free to
also
play.
think too that one that I'm interested, because we're going to bring this up later on when we talk about the news section. But you know, I wonder if we don't see this as one of the first games too that is moved over to also PC. You know,
It's possible.
I think I even think like adapting this to even mobile, like
I think this could have a huge PC player base.
I
think
think
it
so as
has
well,
more
yeah.
potential on
think
PC than it does on PlayStation.
For
sure. Yeah,
I
no, I
think so,
completely
too.
agree with that.
because that right
'Cause
there will combat your again. I
'cause
know it's
That's
not
a Square
trying to,
Enix decision more so than a PlayStation decision.
Splatoon is, correct me if I'm wrong. Splatoon's on PlayStation, correct? It is a
No.
PlayStation.
No,
No,
it is
that's
only
only
It's
on
not.
Nintendo.
It's
Okay,
only-
I thought it was.
only-
I thought it was
only-
PlayStation and Nintendo.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I
No,
said
no.
they're not really trying to compete with the Splatoon audience
I
because that's
see,
all on
okay.
the Switch.
right. But I think also too, one of the things to keep in mind is that you know, most households right now, because of the Switch's price point, and just age, right? Most people have I would say, if they have one console, they've got a Switch plus an additional one, right? Like,
Right.
you know, so I think inevitably the audience that is going to look at this, regardless of who they're competing with, is going to see Splatoon, and or try to or as a competitor. And I think, like we're saying, if it goes to PC, you definitely at that point, because there's a lot of PC players that maybe not own a Switch and they want to play Splatoon. I personally like Splatoon. I think it's a great game.
Switch is one of the best platforms, by the way. If you guys don't own
Jesus
it, why would you not? Really? I mean, come on now. Nintendo
interesting.
is amazing.
Well, cool. Well, I wonder. We'll see. We'll have to see whether it's what it looks like in 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it's polished.
I'm curious to see if it makes it a year, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah,
It'll make it a year if they do go free to play.
It's honestly one of the most polished games that I've seen come out in a while. Like, oddly enough, the only issues I had technical wise with it was some matchmaking issues, but that's just people leaving before the match starts.
Right.
I also want to say there's a PvE mode. It's nothing it's nothing special. It's a defend an objective from some random things. But yeah,
Interesting.
it's good.
Germs.
It's better than I expected it to be at the very least. It's not a train wreck.
Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the patch notes. And if you want to join us live, we stream every single Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern here on YouTube as well as on Twitch. Also, if you miss the show, you can always catch us at anchor.fm/prepatch podcast or wherever you listen to your podcast. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the show.